Well, if your motorcycle is not starting and you've already checked the spark, it's getting a great spark and it's getting fuel to the carburetor and the compression feels good. All three are the case on this bike. Then, chances are, your problem is with your carburetor. This bike has been sitting for quite a while, and you know, as tends to happen when bikes sit for a couple of months, the fuel in the carburetor bowl will turn to a sort of a varnish and clog the jets in it. So because it's the weekend and I want to ride this bike, I'm going to go ahead and clean the carburetor out, which is about a 25-minute job depending on how capable you are. The tools you're going to need for this are a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a 10mm socket. Not socket, a wrench. Not a socket. Socket won't work. So the first step is going to be to take off your air intake. If you have a stock bike, it's going to have a snorkel thing coming on this, but I have an aftermarket one there. You take them both off the same way. Just undo this hose clamp here. Hard doing this with my left hand. Apologize. And so just wiggle her off. There you go. This is also a good time to check if your choke and everything is working, and see if the slide moves up and down when you work the throttle. And it is. So next step is going to be to take off your throttle slide. Sort of unscrews like that, fairly straightforward, and just slides out of there. Get that out the way. You'd also want to take off your fuel line, which would be either pushed on there or hose clamped on there, but it's broken on mine, so I'm not going to have to do that. Then you're just going to take your 10mm wrench and loosen up that nut, and also the one on the other side, which is in there. There you go. And just undo those. Yeah, it's going to take two hands, I apologize. But those nuts are on down, so I'm just going to, carburetor really just slides off, like that. If it just has any fuel left in it, you can just go ahead and tip her upside down, and it should dump out. This doesn't have any left in it though. So now we're going to go back into the workshop and take this thing apart. Alright, for actually cleaning the carburetor, the first step is going to be to take off the bowl, which is held on by three screws. Phillips head screws. There's one there, and one there. So I'm just going to unscrew those and take off the bowl. Well, I didn't even have to take off the bowl of this carburetor to see what's wrong with it. Right there, in that hole here. See that? There should be a fucking mixture adjuster in there, but there isn't. So it's going to make it run massively too lean at idle, and that's probably why the bike's not starting. So that means that carburetor is NFG, but I'll still show you how to clean it. So well, now the bowl's taken off, and this is inside of the carburetor. You got the float. You're just gonna make sure that thing is not sticking, and it's not. So see the way it works is the fuel comes in here, and as it fills up with fuel, it pushes its float up, which seals up the filling hole. So if that's stuck like down, then it's just going to keep filling up with fuel and overflow the bowl. The two things that will go wrong with the carburetor are these jets. You're going to use your flathead screwdriver to remove them. This is the main jet here. Just put your screwdriver in there, and it's going to take two hands, I apologize. Just unscrew her. And this is you're gonna want that to be clean, and it is, believe it or not. See that? So you can see light through it. That means it is free and clear and working properly. If it isn't, you're gonna want to take a thin gauge of wire and shove her down there until it clears up, but then maybe blow some compressed air through it. Right? So that'll go back in there, no problem. I'm gonna tighten it up, and then that's the pilot jet, or the idle jet as they're called sometimes. Take that out. Take it up to the light, and that is blocked. Can't see light through it. You can also test that by blowing through it, and I just did that and some shit came out, but it's still blocked. So that's going to need thin gauge wire on it, and when that, you can actually see through it and blow through it and everything, and that'll be ready to go, and that'll go back in there. Another thing you're going to want to check is how much shit's in your bowl. Now that is a very clean bowl, very clean. There is some shit down at the bottom. Here, I'll go under the light so you can see. But if it's been sitting a while, you'll get this varnishy sort of disgusting shit down at the bottom, and that'll come loose over time and clog your jets. So you're going to want to make that very clean. You can use some carburetor cleaner, or soak it in lemon juice, or soak it in gasoline and scrub it real good. But I think lemon juice works the best. Just boil it in that shit. But that's very clean, so that's not the issue either. Like I said, we already found the issue to be the that mixture screw. So you're just going to want to, when those jets are both clean, and the float is working and it's clean all up in there, just go ahead and put the bowl back on, and then put the screws back in there and tighten her up with your Phillips head screwdriver. And then you're just going to want to, when that's all together, put the carburetor and this side first, back onto the mounts. A little finicky there. And then take the slide, put her back in there, tighten her out real good, and once you do that, just work the throttle a little bit to check that the slide is indeed working. Then check the choke is working again, and then put your air filter back on with the hose clamp and give her a test run. And if it doesn't run, you either did something wrong or the carburetor's not the issue. Well, after much looking for that little mixture adjust that I had lost, which is right down there in the carburetor, I finally managed to get one, and it's in there, and the bike actually runs now. It is a bit of a mutt. You can see it's got this is an ATC 200 tank it's got onto it, and the seat doesn't really fit on, so I just got a towel on there for now, but she should run. She's running a few minutes ago, so I'm sure it'll start up now. Some choke. yeah, so she's a runner. The fine adjustments aren't exactly done properly yet, but once I get the mixture and the idle speed and all that done, it should be a pretty good bike. So yeah, I'll make a proper riding video of this thing in a couple of days when I got a good tank and seat on it. And yeah, so that is how you clean your XR100 carburetor. Thanks for watching.